Wonderful, wonderful. Now it's time to present our second Hall of Fame inductee, Boris Bozic. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Jim Murphy to say a few words. Jim. Hello again.
I'm back. Good evening. It's great to actually be back at CAAMP, an association that plays a very important role in assisting Canadian homebuyers each and every day. Boris Bozic has been a leader in Canada's mortgage industry and has given back to the industry through his work with CAAMP and with others. Those of you who know Boris know he has a voice to match. Whenever I hear his voice, I'm never exactly sure if he's wanting to talk about mortgage issues or classic rock hits from the 1960s and 70s. And I think he took his inspiration from those days. Through his career with brokerages and with lenders, Boris created his own stairway to heaven. In his work, he helped people climb the steps to reach the dream of homeownership. And from Pink Floyd, another classic band, his favorite tune must have been Money, because he went on to, with Kathy, create Paradigm Merix that supports and distributes exclusively through the mortgage broker channel. And from all his work, his clients can truly say, home, home again, I like to be there where I can. Boris didn't just build his business and help his clients. He also helped build the channel through his contribution to CAAMP and to MBABC. He was and is an ardent supporter of CAAMP's most important activity, namely representing your interests with government and regulators. He was the driving force behind several governance changes on our board, including term limits for board of directors and capping representation from a single business entity. He also contributed to this conference, which starts tonight. Boris chaired the CAAMP Conference Committee for many, many years, and his suggestion to partner with the Art of, which we do on the Tuesday of the conference, to provide access to high-caliber speakers in the field of sales and marketing and leadership. Boris made the name change to Mortgage Forum when he was chair of the conference committee. He also reviewed the social networking activities that this conference provides, which are so important, whether it be Camp Fest or Comedy Fest. He always had the desire to not only change things, but to improve them and to raise the bar. It gives me a great pleasure to introduce my friend Boris Bozic, a most deserving and the newest member of Canada's Mortgage Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much, Jim, for those kind words, and, and congratulations on your most worthy acknowledgement this evening. We all thank you for your dedication and your service to this industry, and we wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavors. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Cara also told me I could have 5 minutes. Cara, your head's going to explode. I'd like to begin by thanking the CAAMP Hall of Fame Nominating Committee for bestowing this honor on me. It's an honor which can be best categorized as one of the highlights of my career, and it's an honor I accept with great humility. I'd also like to thank those who went to great effort to submit the nomination on my behalf: Kathy Gregory, Hallie Strandland, and Ron Swift. Your act of selflessness is something that I will forever cherish. And I'd also like to congratulate my fellow Hall of Fame inductee this evening, Alan Jetty. Alan, your induction into this Hall of Fame is so well-deserved and overdue. It is my distinct pleasure to enter the Hall in your company. When one receives an acknowledgement such as this, you can't help but reflect on your career. And upon doing so, 2 things became apparent to me. Firstly, my career finish line is much closer than the starting blocks. Knowing that the time remaining is shorter, it's imperative that every moment is well spent. And it's also important to never overstay your welcome. To lose relevance is to lose purpose, and a career with no purpose diminishes and tarnishes past achievements. Secondly, throughout my entire career, I've been so incredibly lucky. I was so fortunate to have individuals who were willing to take a risk on me. No one ever gave me a handout, but many individuals gave me a hand up. Individuals like Dieter and Andy Peschman, who 30 years ago gave me my first opportunity in this industry. Dieter Peschman tried mightily to convince me to go and seek employment elsewhere. I'm thankful I could dissuade him of his initial instincts. I also have to thank someone like Richard Quinter, who gave me my first corporate gig many years ago. I'd been living in Vancouver for 2 months, no contacts, and dripping with Eastern attitude. And he thought it would be wise to have me try to manage and corral a bunch of franchise owners in Western Canada. Well, what challenges could arise from that? What did arise from that was my introduction to Grant and Debbie Thomas. Our relationship began as employer and employee, but grew to the friendship that it is today. And it's because of the Thomases that I believe that Vancouver still feels like home to me. Because when I was away from my family, they welcomed me into theirs. And for that, I will be forever thankful. I'd like to thank 2 individuals for having a 5-minute conversation with me. The conversation at the time seemed rather innocuous, but it proved to have a dramatic impact on my career path and my professional development. Thank you to Ron Swift. You called me 7 years ago and said the members of the CAAMP board at that time would like me to run for a board seat. You said it was my time to lead and my time to stand up. I thank Kelly Stratton. She was the incoming chair of the association. She calls me and says, I want you on my executive. I wasn't even sure if I wanted to run again. She says, if you do your part and ensure that you get reelected, I'll make sure that you're the chair within 3 years. Hallie, you are a lady of your word. My career development at CAAMP, and it was a voyage of discovery, and I thank the 2 of you for providing the beacon for me. I got to thank John Donald and Art Trojan. You believed in a business model which ended up being Merix Financial and Paradigm Quest. Like any startup, the investment risk you took was not in the business model, but the people behind it. And because of what you did, you transformed many lives, including mine. I thank you for allowing us to experiment, for imparting your knowledge and wisdom, and for allowing us to earn our stripes as business leaders. I'd be remiss in not thanking certain individuals that were there on day 1 for both Merix and Paradigm. Thank you to Donald Yule, an original, a founder. Your wisdom, your support, your intellectual capital, and contrarian approach contributed greatly to our success, and it is my privilege to call you partner. To Chris Mariani, thank you for believing in our vision and for having the courage to suspend reality, giving up gainful employment for a maybe. And of course, I'd like to acknowledge and thank the Merix Originals, to Jill Paish, Andy Kuiper, Laurie Smith, and Lloyd Pritchard. I thank you for your blind faith. We collaborated, we schemed, we mastered the art of spin. You helped to build a brand with crazy glue and Band-Aids on a shoestring budget. And even though there is only 2 of us that remain, we will always share a common bond. We did it. To all the current employees at Merix and Paradigm, a million thanks. You make me look good every day. Every once in a while, I come up with a harebrained idea, something feeble. You make it great. And specifically, I'd like to thank John Bourdignon, Sharon Fitzpatrick, Frank Tucci, Rich Hewitt, and Kevin Conroy. I thank you for the gift of knowledge, for I learn from you every day. I'm so grateful to be able to share this evening with my family. My brother Tom and his wife Erin are here. Tom, I thank you for never passing judgment on me, be they for professional reasons or for personal reasons. And the most thing that I'm thankful for is the comfort that you give, because I know that I will never walk alone. I'm also thankful that my parents are here to celebrate this evening with me. They've done such an extraordinary job and provided a great life for my brother and I. Thanks, Dad. I grew up in a typical European family where sons worshiped their mothers. They also feared them as well. And to illustrate, 2 years after leaving TD Bank to start out Merix Financial, I finally told my mother of my career move. You see, I'm still convinced that God created wooden spoons for creation mothers to use on their sons who made questionable decisions. Mom, I know I've caused you a lot of worry over my lifetime, but I think I can honestly say tonight, you don't have to worry anymore. Everything's going to be okay. And to my dad, I thank you for the example that you set for Tom and I. You always told us the family comes first, and I'm most appreciative for that. But you always said treat everybody with respect and dignity. I wish I had $1 for every time that I heard somebody say, "Your father is such a nice man." If riches could be measured on character and kindness, you would be the wealthiest man on the face of the earth. And now to my extended family, the Gregorys, to Brittany, Rochelle, Owen, Mackenzie, and Kathy. Thank you for allowing me to come into your family, for opening up your hearts to me, and for navigating around my idiosyncrasies. But I also thank you for being the catalyst to an epiphany I had. Until joining your family, I had not realized what a shallow life I was leading. I was a bachelor, I was by myself, it was about me all the time. Joining your family forced me to change, and I wouldn't change that for the world. Thank you. One of my crowning achievements has nothing to do with work. To, in some small part, be able to shape and mold a child is now to me the highest calling. Mackenzie, you've been a part of my life for 12 years, and I thank you for giving me moments I thought I would never experience. The simple joy of teaching you how to ride a bike, lacing up your skates in a cold change room before a hockey game, and for leaving work early one day so I could follow the TTC bus that you took home for the first time alone. Seeing you make it home safely all on your own was such a simple pleasure, but one that I will never forget. You're a remarkable young man, and you will go on to do great things, but throughout it all, you will always be my little buddy. To Kathy, your CV and professional achievements have been well documented and memorialized as evidenced by your induction into the CAAMP Mortgage Hall of Fame. But your professional career does not define who you are. You're a wonderful mother, you're an amazing friend, and you see promise and hope in others when it may not be apparent to most. Kathy, you and I did okay when we were apart, but together we do great. I can say unequivocally, unabashedly, without a moment's hesitation, that I am not standing on this stage tonight without you. You have my respect, my admiration, my friendship, and my heart. I love you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, no. Please. Thank you. Please. Car is going to really go crazy. No, I have one more person that I need to thank, and it's my unknown mentor in South Carolina. I don't know the man's name, but it was 5 years ago, and I don't know why I was in South Carolina, but I was exiting the airport and I hailed a cab, and an elderly man came out of the cab and he came over, and I wanted to put my bags into the trunk, but he said no, and he insisted on doing it by himself. And I thought, well, he was a Southern gentleman. So we get into the car, and he turns around, faces me, looks me straight in the eye, big smile on his face, and with a Southern drawl, he says, "How you all doing today?" I said, "I'm doing fine." I said, "How are you doing?" He said, "Sir, I am blessed and forever grateful. Where may I take you?" So we started on the journey, and we make eye contact in the rearview mirror, and I asked him, I said, "Excuse me, when I asked you how you were doing, you said that you were blessed and forever grateful. To me, that's an unusual response. Can you share with me why?" And he didn't hesitate for a moment. He said, "Well, sir, I've been married to the same woman for 55 years. She gave me 3 beautiful daughters who gave me 7 grandchildren who are the joy of my life. And I pray every day for their health and their happiness, and I thank God that He's answered my prayers. And then I get to come to work every day and meet interesting people from faraway places like you. And that, sir, is why I am blessed and forever grateful." Well, my only response that I could come up with was thank you. And so then I started thinking to myself, here's this elderly African-American gentleman who lived in the southern United States and who must have experienced some awful things in his lifetime. Here's this elderly African-American gentleman who probably works from necessity today and not from want. Here's this elderly gentleman who just met somebody for the first time, treated him with respect and dignity, and took joy from meeting him for the first time. And then I thought about my life. and the wonders that I've been able to experience and how good this business has been for me and for my family. And I made a solemn promise at that very moment, from now on, whatever my lot in life was, I would never complain about it again. So to my unnamed mentor in South Carolina, I say to you, sir, thank you for the life lesson, and it is my honor to share something in common with you, for I too am blessed and forever grateful. Thank you.